felt power like this before.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the strongest, most earth-shattering, and most destructive mutants running rampant in the 616 Marvel Comics universe. We'll explore their powers and the feats they've demonstrated to label them as a dominant force.
You know all those dangerous mutants you hear about on the news? I'm the worst one.
Number 10, Storm.
They can't cure us. You want to know why? Because there's nothing to cure. Nothing's wrong with you. Or any of us, for that matter.
Not every character gets labeled a goddess when they're not exactly one. But Storm is an exception, as her control of the weather and atmosphere is godlike. Her abilities are handy in a fight, by throwing freezing hell or torrential rain at a baddie.
He has not yet felt the force of the elements! Skies with rocks of ice!
But they can also battle droughts and other severe weather. Aurora Monroe's power is said to be so big that there's said to be no upper limit to her potential. Unsurprisingly, she's deemed Omega level. Yet, if we remove her fancy schmancy mutation, she's nothing, right? Nope, not at all.
Ancient sands, heed my command and reclaim these relics of hatred!
Powerless Storm has shown herself able to defeat powered people, including the incredibly OP Tarn. Her strength has even attracted actual gods, like Loki, who gave her the Asgardian hammer Stormcaster. Number 9, Proteus.
A spectacular power. A teenager who can quite literally do anything he wishes. Not a comforting thought.
Imagine being so powerful that the raw energy you contained burnt out your body, needing you to jump from one host to another as the same happened to them. That's how incredibly potent Proteus is. As the son of Moira McTaggart, Kevin McTaggart was an immediate threat to the combined X-Men.
Even with more time, Professor, what could we possibly accomplish? Proteus attacks with the speed of thought. Though a young man, he has the immature emotions of a child. I say we nail him.
His main ability is being able to manipulate reality. When using it, Proteus traumatized Wolverine after he was stretched and morphed while he could do nothing. To make it more impressive, metal is one of Proteus' weaknesses, and Wolverine is covered with it. In recent times, the Omega-level mutant has been using his powers for good as part of the Five's resurrection protocols on Krakoa.
I have helped many like you, Kevin. With time, you will learn to master your powers and this rage, but only if you learn to trust those who love you, mother and father.
Number 8, Mr. M. From the more obscure box of Marvel's mutants, Mr. M, aka Absalom Mercator, is another who can treat existence as their playground. He's an Omega-level mutant who specializes in matter manipulation. As such, he's been known to do some pretty outrageous things. For starters, Mercator can create life with butterflies and other beings and even speed up the growth of plants. He's also able to change people's biology. That can include taking away or augmenting their powers, healing them, or really messing them up by turning them inside out. Ooh. Mercator also has the chance to be destructive. While it turned out to be a switcheroo, he can produce enough nuclear energy to level a town. Number 7, Professor X.
And as frightening as it may be, that pain will make you stronger. If you allow yourself to feel it, embrace it, it will make you more powerful than you ever imagined.
As the founder of the X-Men, Charles Xavier isn't just an intelligent rich guy with several doctorates. Instead, he's one of the greatest telepaths to live. With the aid of Cerebro, in the early days, his powers were increased vastly, allowing him to connect with every being on the Earth and sometimes into space.
Through Cerebro, I'm connected to them, and they to me. You see, Logan? We're not as alone as you think.
Yet, away from the fetching helmet, Xavier is still a force to be reckoned with. When Magneto did something horrific to Wolverine, more on that later, Xavier shut down his mind.
You're sneaking around in here, Charles. Whatever are you looking for? I'm looking for hope.
While it did have horrible consequences with Onslaught's creation, it's still impressive. Xavier has also been known to manipulate the memories of several people with one event, such as the storyline Deadly Geniuses. Number 6. Magneto.
We are the future. We are the ones who will inherit this Earth. And anyone who stands in our way will suffer the same fate as these men you see before you.
As the master of magnetism, Max Eisenhardt has been one of the X-Men's most powerful foes and allies. With the ability to manipulate magnetism, it offers this Omega-level mutant a range of powers, such as flight and generating force fields.
Tell Xavier I am stronger now. As I healed from our last encounter, I had time to prepare. Tell him those who oppose me are traitors to mutant kind. I will show him no mercy.
In one of his most destructive displays, in the Fatal Attraction story, Magneto pulled the animanium from Wolverine's skeleton. Before this, he released an EMP across the globe, destroying every electronic device. Later on, during the incursion, Magneto pumped himself with mutant growth hormone and siphoned Polaris's powers to push the other Earth away. While he wasn't successful, he did hold it for a time, which is a stunning display of power and heroism.
There's so much more to you than you know. Not just pain and anger. There's good too, I felt it. And when you can access all that, you'll possess a power no one can match. Not even me.
Number 5. Iceman. Before Emma Frost took over his mind and pushed him towards his potential, Bobby Drake was coasting through the X-Men.
Last time I checked, I'd flunked out of this loony bin.
You didn't flunk. You chose to leave.
I chose to think for myself, instead of always playing the good soldier boy.
But now, he's one of their most mightiest members. Deemed to be Omega level, Iceman can generate cold and ice and even manipulate water. Weirdly, this has even allowed him to create snowy clones and made him effectively immortal as he can replace his cells.
Maybe you should go back to school.
You never should have left.
When facing off against the Juggernaut, one of Iceman's incredible tricks was freezing the speed of light around him. When he was infected with the Death Seed, Iceman's powers got even more impressive. On top of turning himself into a giant and basically a god, he plunged the whole Earth into an ice age.
Impressive, Bobby. I didn't know you had it in you.
I'm not usually around this much water.
Number 4. Hope Summers. We imagine that when Cerebral of Yay olden days registered a new mutant, it bleeped gently. But when Hope Summers came into being, it wrecked the device, causing massive amounts of pain to Xavier. That's how powerful she is. As the first mutant born after M-Day, after the Scarlet Witch obliterated the mutant population, Hope was always going to be special. And boy is she. Class Omega level, Hope's able to manipulate the powers of those around her, as well as mimic them without having to touch them, like Rogue. When taking on the Juggernaut in his Kurth form in Fear itself, Hope used the power of 5 mutants to fight him and succeed in her part of the plan. Number 3. Legion.
Why am I so important?
Because we're at war, and we're losing. And you may be the most powerful mutant alive.
If the X-Men creatives wanted to create a new universe, David Haller is seemingly their go-to character. After all, Legion played a part in bringing together the Age of Apocalypse, the Age of X-Man, and the Age of X. While he's Xavier's son, Legion vastly outpowers his pops. He has an Omega-level ability of power manifestation. Essentially, they're personalities inside Legion's head.
David? Nope. Sorry. David isn't here right now. He had to go someplace quiet. We're in charge now.
When in control, he calls upon them when required, giving him a smorgasbord of attributes to choose from. According to some characters, Legion has thousands trapped in his head, and more are created constantly.
I'm you, your rational mind. You're having a breakdown, a stress response. Your power is kicking in to save you. It created me. You did.
And you're British?
With this overpowered ability, he's been able to defeat super strong foes, including the Elder Gods. Number 2, the Marquis of Death. One of the most powerful mutants of all time didn't originate in an X-Men comic, but a Fantastic Four one. On Earth 807128, Clyde Winchman Jr. destroyed villains who attacked him with his godlike reality warping powers. He then went on a siege across the multiverse, destroying the Earths along the way and controlling cosmic entities. The Marquis eventually took 616 Dr. Doom under his wing. Yet, when he later saw Doom wasn't running the world, the Marquis fought him and lost. Doom was then beloved by all and married Sue Storm. However, it was an illusion. The Marquis managed to trick one of the most powerful sorcerers. Yikes. It took the aid of another universe's Clyde's help to defeat the Marquis, as no one else could. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Elixir. Elixir can heal and end people, even resurrecting them with his Omega level powers. Quentin Quire. Classed Omega level, Quire is one of the most powerful telekinetics and telepaths around. New Sun. An alternate version of Gambit, he shows the devastating potential Remy could have. Monarch. Classed Omega level, Jamie Braddock can warp reality to his whim by pulling the strands. Exodus. An Omega level ancient being who is thought to be the most powerful psionic.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Jean Grey.
You have more power than you can imagine, Jean. The question is, will you control that power? Or let it control you?
Also known as Marvel Girl, she is the epitome of potential. In the early days of X-Men, she was treated like an afterthought. But as time went on, Jean morphed into a crazy powerful mutant, becoming Omega level with her telepathy and telekinesis. Jean needed mental blocks during her development so she wasn't overwhelmed by her own power.
No, it's not just the mind reading or the telekinesis, it's something else. Some dark power inside, and it's growing like a fire.
When we add the Phoenix into the mix, Jean becomes even more powerful. While it was later retconned that she was in a cocoon and was copied by the cosmic entity at the time, Dark Phoenix Jean consumed the sun, destroying a planet with billions upon it. But even more impressive, no matter how many times you think you've slain Jean, she always comes back.
The mortal Jean Grey is no more. I am fire made flesh, power incarnate. I am the Dark Phoenix!
Which X-Men alumni who hasn't had a live-action film or TV show would you like to see? Fantomex, Pete Wisdom, Armor, or someone else? Let us know in the comments down below.
They need to be tough, morally flexible, and young enough to carry this franchise 10 to 12 years.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.